right, we have Kyle Busch. I don't know much about NASCAR, but I want to check this out.
What was your thought about Keselowski's little declaration?
Who?
Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
This is Kyle Busch. If he doesn't like you, he'll let you know. If the fans didn't like
He's acting like Marshawn Lynch.
something he said, he won't care. If you're being a complete menace on the racetrack around him, he'll tell you straight to your face. And this is exactly what has caused the entire NASCAR fan base to completely split between loving or hating him. The Coke 600 is one of the few NASCAR races that holds prestige over most of the others. This is called a crown jewel, and winning one of them is a big deal. Like, a really big deal. And so when Kyle
I think he got second in that one. Oh my god.
Busch finally passed Martin Truex Jr. on the final lap of 2017's edition, he imagined it would be the pass he'd need to make for the win. But this wasn't like any other race. This specific race ended on fuel strategy, meaning Austin Dillon saved enough fuel to make it to the end without pitting, and Busch hated the fact that he lost the race in that way. I'll admit, seeing the guy in your windshield win off of pure strategy and not speed as you're closing in on him probably hurts than most people would understand. So after the race, Kyle stayed in his car, took a moment to collect himself, and prep for post-race interviews. But
This is gonna be good, isn't it? This is gonna be good.
as more and more time passed, Busch would only grow more annoyed as he reflected on what exactly he just missed out on. And by the time he arrived to speak with the media, he displayed not a single care in the world to answer anything.
And were you surprised that Austin could stretch it on fuel? And then, I mean, what does it mean, do you think, for Austin to get his first win?
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
And
He seems like an asshole there, but this reminds me of Kimi Räikkönen, but Räikkönen wasn't as... He's nicer.
bro, let's not lie. I'd be salty too if I just lost to Austin Dillon. You get to pull into the pits while he celebrates on the front stretch and dabs on your ass. It's like getting killed by a kid in Fortnite and they just start doing a whole emote performance over your body. Oh my god, wait. Austin Dillon plays Fortnite.
Oh
Now
my
it's
God.
all making sense. But at least they're teammates now. I don't really know if that's
That
a
might
good
be
thing. I
dangerous.
just felt like saying that. But what
That
about
might
the
be
time they
dangerous.
repaved Atlanta Motor Speedway? NASCAR drivers loved this speedway because the surface was extremely old, and that made it one of the most challenging
Ouch.
tracks in terms of dealing with tire wear and grip. When they repaved the track, they added higher banking, and now it can be best described as Talladega's little brother. There's no resemblance between the new and old versions, so when a reporter asked Kyle Busch if he liked the track now, this is what he said.
This type of racing, is it making you more an entertainer than a driver?
You like this version of Atlanta better than the old one?
Nope.
To be fair,
I don't know if I like him. He just seems like not a nice guy.
Atlanta did go from a driver's track to one that seemed to be designed with entertainment in mind, and my gosh was it entertaining. NASCAR's 2023 race here was one of the top races of the season. The end of stage number 1 was very intense, and it's everything you should want to see as a NASCAR fan.
That
Some
looks
lap
epic.
cars in
It's so close to
NASCAR
each
are
other.
just very extremely slow, and one of these drivers was Garrett Smithley, where Kyle Busch did not expect for him to sit in the middle of the racetrack. He almost wrecked just trying to avoid such an obstacle, and when he smashed Smithley's rear bumper, it completely destroyed his
Oh my
splitter.
God.
Ironically, this contact made his car drive as slow as a tortoise, just like the number 52 who was in his way to begin with, and he dropped from 10th to finish 19th place,
That kinda
completely
sucks.
ruining his day. So when the time came for interviews, Busch told it exactly how it was.
Happened there with the 53, they're late. 52, get it right. Don't know.
Why be such a jerk?
What happened there at the beginning of the race? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You feel okay about your chances
He stole that from Marshawn Lynch.
overall?
Don't care. Just here so I don't get fined. I'm answering the dumbest questions over and over again. Am I good? We're the
Dude, those people have to do their job. They have to ask you questions. Why be a dick?
top echelon of motorsports, and we got guys that have never won late model races running out here on the racetrack. It's pathetic. They don't know where to go.
It's somewhat similar to the time where Brad Keselowski doored him off turn 4 at Martinsville in an effort to finish second place. In hindsight, this contact was very pointless, and they collided again after the checkered flag, which caused Busch to go on a tangent.
Well, he drills my coming out of 4 for no reason. I mean, where was he going? What was he going to do? Spin me out? He was trying to do a Harvick is what he was trying to do. For what? For second place? So stupid. I've already had to pay enough fines in my lifetime. I'm sure I'll get another one.
Honestly, I
Wow.
have to agree with Kyle
Wow.
Busch. This is only something that should be happening in a NASCAR video game. Like, where was bro going? He could have just been a few years early and wall-rided the final turn to win the whole race.
Right.
But anyways, that finish was crazy and everyone remembers it because of how viral it went.
It went
But
amazing,
Did you know
I saw
Kyle
that.
Busch was actually part of one of the most iconic finishes in NASCAR history? This finish was epic. Larson ran Busch into the wall on the final lap, so for the 18, anything goes in the final corner. He pushed the 42 too hard into the corner, used this wall to help turn his car, and sailed to victory only to hear boos rain down from the grandstands.
Holy crap.
But why?
He literally knocked them out of the race to win.
This finish is what NASCAR is all about. Well, okay, I'm not going to waste your time. I'll tell you exactly why. Remember how I said in the start of this video that NASCAR fans either love or hate Kyle Busch? Well, the average NASCAR fan certainly liked Larson more than Busch. So,
Ooh.
great finish, bad winner. The funny part is Larson wasn't even mad. After the finish, he pulled up next to Busch and gave him a thumbs up. So when Busch heard the crowd's response, he mocked them because yes, that finish was indeed crazy good.
Who is this guy?
It wouldn't even have been a race. I don't know what y'all are whining about, but if you don't like that kind of racing, don't even watch.
That
Wow.
famous quote from Talladega Nights
If you ain't first, you're last.
is Kyle Busch in a nutshell, especially
Hey, Phillip.
considering how much he despises second place. Busch had a miserable truck race at Charlotte, but he
God.
was able to rally back to finish second. But as we saw earlier, second place is just the first loser. So although the rally through the field was impressive, he gave all the credit to himself and absolutely none of it to his pit crew.
Gotta be kidding me. We lose 6 spots every time coming down, and you guys can't figure out how to jump off the wall?
Can you talk about how you made your way back to the field?
Pure talent.
I have no words, guys. I have no freaking words. Yeah, pure talent. Who put the fuel in your car, buddy?
That's about it. My pit crew did absolutely nothing to help me out tonight. My truck drove like you can't pass in traffic. You can't race alongside anybody. You can't get within 5 truck lengths of no one. But somehow, some way, I was able to get back to the
Wow, way.
So Kyle wasn't a fan
Wow.
of his truck that day, but he also hated NASCAR's Car of Tomorrow. Very goofy name, just like the goofy spoiler on the back of all the cars. Man, nothing screams stock car like pimping it out to look like it belongs in this scene from the Cars movie. To be fair, the stock cars in the sport were having an identity crisis because every manufacturer looked the exact same, and there were definitely no real-life cars that had any resemblance to these. But perhaps
Patrick.
something worse than the way they looked was the way they drove. Busch won the first ever race in a Car of Tomorrow, and he said they completely suck to drive.
I'm still not a very big fan of these things. I can't stand to drive them. They suck.
You probably didn't know that Kyle Busch was once accused of wrecking on purpose. The
Really?
spin in question was this one on lap 2 at Watkins Glen. Reporter Bob Pockris didn't know that there was actually contact here, and so he asked Busch if he regretted spinning and getting into it with Byron last week. Busch proceeded to say,
Well, let me ask you this.
There you go.
Busch has been racing in NASCAR
Wow.
for over 20 years now. He's raced with the likes of Mark Martin,
There has been a good soundbite of him. It's just all negative soundbites of him. Why would sponsors want him as the person they're sponsoring? I don't understand. You're supposed to. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if this guy would have survived in Formula One. Kimi did, but at least he was kind of nice.
Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., but now he races with Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Ty Gibbs.
Wow.
Over the years, there's been a clear mentality shift from NASCAR drivers where it's all take and no give. So after all of this dirty racing, Kyle Busch finally went on a rant.
Now you're going down the right path, as we have completely lost any sense of respect in the garage area between drivers. There was an etiquette that once did live here. I mean, it did exist. That's gone.
But again, there's
true in
no
all
lies
racing,
detected. Most race fans could agree to these statements, that overall NASCAR's dirtier than what it used to be. Now, the drivers aren't fully to blame. You can also look at the racing package that bunches everyone closer together than ever
Yeah.
before, as well as the playoffs and stages that put points on the table at all times. There's a lot to gain, but also a lot to lose if you don't shift your driving style to be greedy. Greedy. I know of a driver who's greedy. Brian Vickers was greedy while racing Kyle Busch for the win
Yeah.
in the Nationwide Series. Approaching the final lap, Brad Keselowski was lurking in the shadows when Vickers was so tunnel visioned and not letting Busch pass. So he chased him to the bottom of the track and side drafted. And all of this happened while Keselowski was just easily able to pass on the outside. But
What a
ironically,
mistake.
this same exact thing happened in Busch's favor just a few years later. I'm sure you could guess that Kyle couldn't help himself from being brutally honest about this situation.
He hung on my right rear quarter.
panel, and the 88 just drove right by both of us on the outside because Brian Vickers was trying to slow both of us down. Just stupid. Unfortunately, you race with idiots, and I guess you'll have that sometimes.
So is it good or bad for NASCAR to have a personality like Kyle Busch? All I know is that it sure makes for quality entertainment. Hit subscribe so you can say you
It's definitely entertaining, but holy crap, who sponsors him? Like, why would you want to sponsor Kyle Busch if that's how he acts? Every time he goes crazy, you're all over his shirt and you're on the news. I guess, hey, it works. Holy crap. Are you guys fan of NASCAR? Let me know if you guys prefer NASCAR, Formula One, and who you're rooting for. In Formula One, I don't know. I feel like I'm right now going for Mercedes. Danny Ricciardo, who's injured right now. Ferraris, rooting for the Ferraris. So pretty much everyone except Red Bull.